In the results of this group. Now for Heat 2 of Group A. Let's see how these four teams do. The Honeybees out ahead. Actually, that was a very close finish once again. The Checkmates looked like they had it, but the Honeybees just narrowly caught up. It was much farther back for the other two, the Goo Ghosts and Team Pixie. Now we see Team Pixie. Can they do anything to challenge the Red Rockets? They lose one early, but those three, they get one all the way to the end. Two of them make it pretty far. That's a 244. That will take second place. So not too shabby from them. That one marble following along on the side. That does see. Will Enchanto of Team Pixie be able to take the win here? Oh, they made contact with the bar there. That is allowed, though. At angle, only a 12.4. Perhaps if they put more of their momentum into the bubble. And now we head into the funnel endurance, the final event with Group A here. And right now it's looking like the Snow Skaters, Honeybees are keeping it wide, Red Rockets as well. And yes, they will hold on to the lead heading into the second funnel. Meanwhile, it's the Stone Golems are on the opposite side. They're falling quickly through. Team Pixie, the Goo Ghosts, and the Honeybees as well, as the Snow Skaters trying to take the lead, and they do, just barely. It's looking pretty close so far, but the Jelly Jammers and the Stone Golems are fighting to stay out of that bottom spot. The Goo Ghosts have taken the lead now. They are in desperate need of a good performance. They are struggling. Even a win here, they're going to need some good luck from with underperforming teams that they need to pass if they want to qualify. Meanwhile, looks like the Stone Golems are the first team to fall into the orange section now, as the Goo Ghosts continue to dominate over Team Pixie and the Snow Skaters, who are fighting for that second place spot. It will be Team Pixie that wins that battle, as the Jelly Jammers falling down the order. Meanwhile, the Honeybees, the Checkmates, also in there. The Snow Skaters have had quite a fall. They were briefly in the lead, and now they're looking pretty unfortunate there. First to fall into the final funnel. Will they come through in last? No, the Honeybees will get that dubious distinction. The Jelly Jammers come in just past them. Snow Skaters, Stone Golems now. Meanwhile, it's the Goo Ghosts still up top, and Team Pixie and the Checkmates both fighting for the last bit of qualification. It will be the Checkmates that come in third, just above the Red Rockets. And now the Goo Ghosts trying to hold on to that lead the best they can over Team Pixie. Team Pixie is putting up a good fight, but they still are a funnel behind. There you can see the rest of the competitors getting a bit tired, but the Goo Ghosts will come away with the win here. Team Pixie cannot hold on, and that means they will get a much-needed win here. Funnel endurance, as we begin with Heat 1 with several notable teams. The Team Pixie is included in there, and they were one of the best teams in the qualifiers that didn't qualify. Let's see how they do. Looks like the first team dropped through will be the Azure Diamonds. It looks like the Avocados were quick to follow. Snow Skaters after that, and several others. It looks like Team Pixie and Viper Venom are fighting for the lead. It's going to be very close, but the Viper Venom will hold on to the lead for now. It's still those same two, the Avocados and Azure Diamonds, falling through very quickly. Now several other teams join them, like the Flying Saucers, but now Team Pixie have taken the lead in that second funnel, as some of the teams are already getting within one funnel of the orange funnels, which is where things really start to get chaotic. It looks like the Balls of Water now trying to make a comeback. They are within the advancement zone, but it's a big battle for fourth place right now. The Flying Saucers and Jelly Jammers are going at it. And, it's very, very tight, but the Jelly Jammers will hold on. Right now, it's the Avocados well off the pace, already into the orange, and they almost shove the Azure Diamonds aside. Can't quite do it, but the Snow Skaters now fall through as well. They're both struggling quite a lot as Team Pixie still dominating this heat. Balls of Water and Viper Venom not too far behind, and now the Flying Saucers have taken that next advancement spot as Viper Venom continuing to fall. The Avocados just comes through now. The Snow Skaters look to follow. There's still the advancement spots up for grabs. Team Pixie already all but safe. Still haven't fallen into the orange funnels yet. But the battle is on for several of these teams. Viper Venom and Flying Saucers going at it. And the Jelly Jammers can't quite make it. Will the Viper Venom? No. The Azure Diamonds will hold on. They will take fourth in this heat. Looks like the Flying Saucers will take third. The Balls of Water made an excellent comeback in the orange funnel section. They will take second, and Team Pixie absolutely dominating this heat. Unsurprising, they did perform well in the funnel endurance and the qualifiers, and now they will come away with a dominant heat win. They might even be challenging for a record here. We'll have to see what their time looks like at end as we head into the final now. Several teams have proven themselves to be formidable in this event, especially teams like Team Pixie, but let's begin. Looks like the Gugos will be off to a pretty poor start, considering they're one of the contenders. It's not looking good for them. The Night Knights also. Team Pixie, right now it's the Flying Saucers and Balls of Water that are fighting for the lead, which we hadn't seen either of them too high up in either of the heats. The Balls of Water came on strong later in their heat, but now the Gigawatts joining in on the action. The Gigawatts made a comeback in the last heat. Perhaps they're trying a new strategy, but the Azure Diamonds also struggling early on, as we'd seen them do before. Now the Pink Pallets shove them aside. It's very close in that second funnel, or third. Now some are dropping into the fifth funnel already. Balls of Water holding on to a pretty substantial lead over the Gigawatts. Flying Saucers and Team Pixie is going to be very close for a second. And, oh my goodness, it's so close that Team Pixie will hold on as the Pink Pallets now drop into the orange funnels, as your Diamonds do as well. They're hoping for a comeback here. Gugos also. And now it's still very tight for that second place spot. It could be anyone as they drop into the orange now. Team Pixie's already dropped through. The Flying Saucers now as well. And Balls of Water will be the last ones remaining in the yellow funnels, but still no one is finished. The Gugos are getting close, though. Night Knights will join them. They shove them aside, and I think that will do them in. The Night Knights looking like they're going to finish, yes, 8th place, last in this heat. Gigawatts comes through now. Team Pixie not looking good. Will anyone shove them aside? No. Gugos will shove them into the hole instead. Flying Saucers comes through now, and now the battle is on for the podium. The Gugos come on through. They will miss the medals. Now the Azure Diamonds made an excellent comeback there to take the bronze. Pink Pallets trying to hold on for the Balls of Water to catch up to them, but it just doesn't happen. The Balls of Water will take the gold in the first event of the B-League over the Pink Pallets and the Azure Diamonds. Pretty impressive run there. Evidently the Gigawatts fell victim to that. Team Pixie now, they lose 1 to the far side, but they get 2 all the way at the end. It's one of the first runs we've seen in either the main league or the B League with 2 finishers. Of course, surprisingly, the Viper Venom come away with an absolutely dominant gold with the Team Pixie and Rose Rollers. Maybe a bit overshadowed so far. It's Team Pixie second in the standings, and maybe they can take the lead here. Doesn't look like it. That looked like it was just past 43, 43.2. That's not going to do it. It's now we hit now. And Team Pixie, a team that disappointed in the last event, and that looked a bit better. But, no, that's only 7.4. Only 9th place, so yet another disappointing already guaranteed, at least 8 from this event. Now the next match, the Azure Diamonds and Team Pixie. See how things go. Oh, they glance off each other, and the Azure Diamonds just can't hold it together. Team Pixie will get a pretty easy advancement there. There was a lot of jostling there at the bottom, but Team Pixie managed to keep the water, did not move on. So teams like the Viper Venom do have a great opportunity to try and take the point lead here. It's now Team Pixie and the Snow Skaters, and no real movement here. They both just come to a complete stop in the center, and not even jostling around much within the raft, just completely stable. So we try once more, and oh, this time the Snow Skaters were kind of turned sideways, slid into the bottom pit here, but still no changes. Let's go once more. Now they come together, and once again just staying completely still, nothing changing here. Both of these teams, of course, the Snow Skaters need more points, much more, but Team Pixie not in the greatest situation in points either. Now they go again. And this time Team Pixie gets rearranged a bit in the raft, but still no changes here. Try once again. Nope, and still once again, these two just will not give up. And so they re-rack once more, keep swapping sides, and oh, this time they glance off each other, but still both of them managing to keep the rafts upright. Well, of course, only one of them can advance, but they both have proven they have what it takes. Will it be this time? No. These two have already gone for so many rounds that whoever does lose will at the very least pretty much guarantee a pretty solid finish. And this time, Team Pixie glances off a little bit, but still no changes here. Now they re-rack once again. Can't imagine this goes on for too much longer, but of course these two proving their skill in this event. Now let's try once again, and oh, this time, what happened there? The Snow Skaters, out of sorts from the track, didn't even get to the bottom, and what here, because they could get a medal. Very good chances of that. Of course, before that, Team Pixie and the Wizard Lizards. Oh, and they will tie for the first round. We've seen how much endurance Team Pixie has. We'll see if it's something similar, if perhaps this match will go by a bit quicker. Of course, both these teams have already won multiple matches and proven their skill in this event. And this time the Wizard Lizards get rearranged a bit in the raft, but still no one getting ejected. Now they try once more, and oh, the Team Pixie really had a hard impact there, but still no changes here. Oh, but they're just losing control and they can't do it. The Wizard Lizards will come away with the victory here. Team Pixie will have to settle for a bronze at best. It looked like they had it for so long, but perhaps they just wasted all their energy in the previous round with so many tiebreakers. But before that, we have the third place match between the Flying Saucers and Team Pixie. Both of these teams have gone through several tiebreakers and probably exhausted completely, but still have to keep marching on if they want to finish on the podium. And the Team Pixie almost lost control there, but they managed to hold it on. Let's see if they can do it again. Oh, no, they completely lose control. They went far off to the side, and it all came undone. The Flying Saucers will come away with bronze here. Time. So we head into the next run. See how these teams can do. Team Pixie out ahead, but here come the Viper Venom. And those two will both advance. It's hard to say who won, but it looks like the Team Pixie just narrowly... Yes, they will narrowly take the win here and advance. And the Viper Venom getting a second semifinal, where Team Pixie and the Viper Venom and the Gigawatts are there. Hearing from the stewards, they did not advance. The Wizard Lizards were supposed to be in their place, but they're saying it's due to some sort of error in the scoring. This semifinal will have to count, but Gigawatts will not be getting any higher. The Wizard Lizards will be awarded 8th place. But now we head into the final. Several notable teams, the Viper Venom, trying to get their third medal of the season, and they were ahead, but the Flying Saucers took it, and I have no idea. Photo finish at the line, and look at that. By the slimmest of margins, I believe it will be the Flying Saucers. Team Pixie miss out, but they will get another 4th place finish, but that means Terran, the reserve of the Flying Saucers, could have used a good finish here, but it won't come. Now for the next heat. See how these teams can do. Wizard Lizards out ahead, but here come Team Pixie around to take the lead, but the Lizards take it back through the water, and they will take the win. Pixie almost got defeated by the Avocados there for the advancing spot. It was very tight at the line, but those top two will be the ones that move on. The Pink Pallets were never really in the question there, but let's see, the second semifinal, the Wizard Lizards, another team higher in the standings, and really all these teams are still in the question, but Team Pixie well out ahead. It's pretty much single file. Team Pixie will win the heat. Wizard Lizards not too far off. Actually, they kind of were pretty far off, over half a second behind, but they will still advance, and then another big gap back to the Soaring Skies. Now we head into the finals. Some of the Wizard Lizards and Balls of Water, both strong teams. Team Pixie as well, but the Wizard Lizards made a huge comeback through the track there, and they will take the gold. It's very close for the bronze medal. I think the Night Knights may have just taken it from Team Pixie at the line, and there looks like they did. The Team Pixie will get yet another 4th place. They've gotten 3 in a row now, if I'm not mistaken, but the Wizard Lizards don't want to be the last one across the line. But here we go with the first round. Team Pixie out ahead. Azure Diamond's not far behind, but right now it's the Gugos. They're well toward the back, and they're one of the teams that's in a bit of danger for relegation. They probably will be okay, but we'll see. As their captain Slime goes out. Very first round, not what they wanted to see, especially for a team lower in the order, but now for the next round. Here we go again. The Orange Fizz look like they're out ahead this time. Already looking pretty good. And Team Pixie just goes straight off the course. What happened there? Just flew right off, hit an obstacle a bit too hard. That means they will take 15th this event. Their hopes of getting a podium this season are done. They're just hoping now that they don't fall too far in the standings. Meanwhile, the Night Knights cutting it close there. And the second will go to Group B. And there you can see the pairs decided by the results of last season. So arguably the most important is the first one, the Terror Titans and the Loaves of Bread. Those two, the strategy plays in more and more as the Flying Saucers and Team Pixie come out. Team Pixie last season failed to qualify on a heartbreaking tiebreaker, but right now it looks like they're trying to go into Group A with a very angular path, and oh my, they'll fall out of the chute there. Hopefully they're okay, but the Flying Saucers going into Group B. It looks like they were staying pretty close together, but Team Pixie did a much better job. They definitely looked like they wanted to go into Group A. Flying Saucers, hard to say if they wanted to stay out or if they were just could do nothing about it as Team Pixie went through first. And now let's see what Team Pixie can do. Last season missed out on a heartbreaking tiebreaker, but do not want to make the same mistakes here. And right now they're looking pretty fast. They've still got everybody going, and Their anchor marble is staying spread apart. That's what you want. Right now, they're still looking good. They've already got their lead marble to the end, and all 4 of them will get to the end. That was a very impressive run from Team Pixie. They got everybody to the end. You can see how clean they were throughout the entire race, keeping everybody moving and keeping their anchor marble at a safe distance to make sure that they can, sweep up anybody who gets stuck while also giving everybody space. It's really a strategic advantage. A 9.73, a very strong time from Team Pixie. Might be the first time we've ever seen a sub 10-second time, and that will obviously reset the record, absolutely demolishing the King Crab's time. So, very impressive there. But now, the Flashbangs, Loaves of Bread, As Your Diamonds, and Team Pixie fighting for the last few spots in Group A. This event goes by quick, and right now it's Bun from the Loaves of Bread with a narrow lead. They will hold on to it, though. Wondra from Team Pixie did a great job there, but they just couldn't quite find a way around the Bun. It shows how this track is very tight. There's not a lot of room, though. Perhaps Wondra wasn't even trying to get around, just wanted to stay in the draft and go as fast as possible. But evidently it worked because they stayed toe-to-toe, and they actually will go 1-2 in this event. The Loaves of Bread will take the win here, and Team Pixie taking second place overall, while the As Your Diamonds and Flashbangs not quite as close. And actually, Bun will take the record right in the middle. But now let's see what Team Pixie can do, trying to perhaps even clinch qualification here. And they've medaled in this event before. 3 of them go off in one big pack, but one of them will get all the way to the end. And it looked pretty strong. I don't think that would be quite a contender for the win, but 5th place with a 227, very respectable for Team Pixie. And that's 3 for 3 on top half finishes so far. Bishop of the Checkmates, gold medalist, only getting 4th in their heat. But now for the final heat in Group A, the Pink Palettes, Team Pixie, Wavebreakers, and Purple Flames. Several of these teams right in the bubble. Right now it's the Pink Palettes just barely ahead, but it's going to be a 3-way tie, basically, photo finish for second place. It was very close. And we've seen from last season how Sand Moguls can produce some really tight results, but it was certainly the Pink Palettes who got first. It looked like Team Pixie narrowly held on for second, but third place is really anyone's guess. Look at how close that was between the Wavebreakers and Purple Flames. It was Floater of the Wavebreakers just barely, but really all 3 of those were within 0.04 of a on tiebreaker. And there's that podium, the Flashbang. This is Team Pixie and the Checkmates can be celebrating. The top 2 in this group both came from the less surprising. They're some of the more traditionally strong teams, but here you can see the roster for the main league of Quack's Marble Clash Season 2, including the 4 auto-qualified. Speaking of the next heat, we move on with the Checkmates, Team Pixie, Ivy League, and Rose Rollers. Bishop, gold medalists in this event last season, so a lot of pressure on them, but we'll have to see how they perform here. And they're off. It's the Rose Rollers. Ultimate, they bump into the wall, and now it's the Ivy League, and Team Pixie will make a comeback right at the end to take that advancing spot. It looked like the Checkmates were going to be moving on, but Bishop, gold medalist in this event last season, will not be moving on past the first round. What a surprise, but what a massive lead for Patina, the reserve of the Ivy League, really making a name for themselves there with a humongous victory. And the fans are very happy about that one. And meanwhile, the Rose Rollers were way behind. You can see they don't even appear on screen until very late into the video, and they were well behind Bishop of the Checkmates. A disappointing time for them, but it's the Ivy League and Team Pixie who will be moving on, get a medal here, maybe even their first gold medal. But now, For the semifinal 2, the City Lights, King Crabs, Stingrays, and Team Pixie. We'll have to see how these teams fare compared to the first semifinal. And their offense, Team Pixie, oh, they bumped into the wall. And now it's the King Crabs with the narrow leader of the Stingrays, but the City Lights will make a comeback right at the end. What a move there. The King Crabs, another time where they looked like they had it. We saw that in the first, in their heat, in Heat 4, where they had a bit of a gap, but they kept bumping into the wall, and this time they won't be quite as fortunate to move on a photo finish. This time, Lumen of the City Lights will take advantage of that spot, and they will be moving on alongside Leopard of the Stingrays, which means we're going to have several unfamiliar faces in the final, especially Lumen of the City Lights, really making a name for themselves. Strongest performance, but that's still enough to be on the provisional podium. And now Team Pixie, another team that's been very strong in this event before. Let's see what they can do. They lose two. Two of them are very close, but they will get to the end. Just barely. Those two are hanging on for dear life. They're getting so close, but they never touched, and those are the kind of skills that it takes. Look at how close they got. And a 239 will be just shy of the checkmates mark. They will take second place provisionally. We'll see. They will be the winners of balancing this time around. And the checkmates and Team Pixie will be rounding out the podium. Team Pixie showing their experience here, getting their first main league medal, and the checkmates getting only their third main league medal. So all of these teams very impressive compared to their usual marks. Hitting the record for hurdles, I believe they already have the record for sprints, so very impressive for that marble. But now for the City Lights, Rose Rollers, Team Pixie, and Snapping Turtles, let's see what these teams can do. The Snapping Turtles look like they have a bit of a lead, but Flora of the City Lights will be taking the win there. That was pretty impressive, a bit of a comeback there. But those two were the top two throughout most of it. It looked like the Rose Rollers had it for a moment, but they just slowed to a crawl, and some big bumps there kept Team Pixie well out of the picture for most of that race. But pretty impressive by Toby of the Snapping Turtles to just hang on to second, and Floro of the City Lights, they will take the win here. Not quite taking the record, but still a very impressive time there. They will be moving on once again. Won't be looking good for the Stone Golems. But now, let's see what the reserve of Team Pixie Miracula can do. Usually not known for their strength events, but we'll see as they push only about 5 pins here. There was one that was leading. It was so close to falling over on the near side, but it's just not going to happen. And a 5 will be not a great start for Team Pixie. It's now their second run, and oh, it's much better here with an 8. That was pretty much perfect, the follow-through. You can see how they really kept their momentum going and managed to knock over many more pins. That's a 13 now. Is their total, but they'll still need a strike to be able to take the lead. I don't think that's going to happen, and no, it will not. Only a 5. I think they'll still be toward the middle, but the lower end of the middle. Yes, 6th out of 8 so far. Not great for Team Pixie, but still decent. But that means at the halfway, sometimes that's how this event can be. It's very treacherous. But now Team Pixie won this event in Group A in the qualifiers. See if they can do another strong performance here. And oh, they already also won on the staircase. It's not a great start. Oh, and now won the pinwheels. And they're not looking that fast either. I don't think is going to stack up to their qualifier performance at all. It will get 2 to the end, but without that fast of a time and with 2 DNFs, I don't think it's going to be that great for Team Pixie, despite it being this being the event that really secured their qualification in the qualifiers. You can see right there, they got so close to getting through that pinwheel, but their third member just couldn't keep the momentum going, and a 12.51 will be 5th of the 6 so far. Very disappointing for a team with a lot of experience in this event, evidently, but this event can be very... Now, the Team Pixie and the Flashbangs, another match between 2 former B-League teams, and both of them have already seen some success this league, but the Team Pixie have a very strong lead, and it's only growing. They will hold on for a comfortable victory here in round 1. The Flashbangs look pretty decent, but they got off to a slow start, and even with their captain trying to close in a little bit, it just wasn't enough. Even their third marble was struggling quite a bit, and that split formation is not going to work out for the Flashbangs. And Team Pixie with a very tight formation, very comfortably ahead. They will be moving on to the next round with a 5.15, a very strong time for the rookie team. We'll have to see how the next round goes. Now we move on to the Slush Rush and Team Pixie, 2 teams that have had many successful runs so far, or at least many for the Slush Rush. And right now the Team Pixie has a bit of a lead, but it's getting closer. Slush Rush, oh, it looks like they might have made a comeback. I have no idea who won that. They were both very fast across the line, though. Both of these teams showing that they have what it takes, but only one of them will be moving on to the semifinals, and I have no idea who. The Team Pixie looked like they had the lead all the way until the end, where they bumped into their third marble, and I have no idea who won that. That was so close. And looking at it now, oh my goodness, it's so tight. We'll have to see what the stewards say. And it is Team Pixie. They will be moving on by 100th of a second. They've decided that was such a tight race. The Stingrays going to the third place round. But now Team Pixie and the Ivy League, another 2 teams that have been very strong so far. But the Ivy League already getting ahead, and it looks like that lead is only growing. They will hold on for another victory. The Ivy League going to the final up against the Rose Rollers, trying to capitalize compared to last season. The Team Pixie looked very respectable here, but it just wasn't enough. Their formation was excellent, keeping everyone tight together, but the Ivy League were just so quick around those corners, it wasn't enough. And looking at it now, it was very close at the end. I didn't realize just how much of a comeback Team Pixie made by 100th of a second. The Ivy League will hold on with a 5-10, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the best time we've seen all day. We have the third place match between the Stingrays and Team Pixie. One of these teams very low in the standings, one very high, and they're off. The Stingrays have a bit of a lead, but the Team Pixie are making a comeback, and did they get it? I have no idea. That was very close toward the line. We've seen a lot of very close matches and a lot of comebacks in this event, and the Stingrays were off to such a strong start. You can see their second marble, Manta, was kind of holding up the captain, and I think Team Pixie might have just made that comeback. I'm not too sure. We'll have to look at it from this angle, and yes, they did. Team Pixie will be taking another bronze, as they did in balancing earlier this season, getting their second medal in the main league. The Stingrays will have to settle for 4th place. But across the board for the Rose Rollers. And there's that podium. Several of these teams getting redemption for past performances, especially the Ivy League, and 2 teams coming from the B League last season. The Rose Rollers getting their first ever main league medal, and it's gold. For the Red Rockets, of course. Meanwhile, their bitter rivals, the King Crabs, are in this heat, trying to take the point lead from them, as well as the Soaring Skies, Stingrays, and Team Pixie. And we are off. It's the King Crabs and Team Pixie on the outside, the latter of whom take the early lead. But the Stingrays are going back and forth with them. They're side by side, but now Team Pixie has a bit of a gap. They have to navigate through the end of this course, and I don't think the Stingrays have any challenge for them. No, they do not. And the Soaring Skies well behind the top 2. Meanwhile, it looks like we had another DNF. And this time it's Hermit of the King Crabs. It's hard to say if they'll be scored ahead or behind Tank, but that guarantees those 2 will be the bottom 2 at least, unless someone else DNFs, which means that the 2 at the top of the point standings are going out here. Very shocking development here, but the Stingrays can capitalize on that. They're much higher in the standings, and they will get a pretty easy advancement here with the Soaring Skies never really putting up a challenge, well behind the other 2, pretty much off camera for the entire heat. The Team Pixie and the Stingrays, both teams that could definitely use a good finish here, and both of them will be getting it, at least getting a top half. We'll have to look at the times in a 10.69, very respectable from Fantastico of the Team Pixie, and Hermit of the King Crabs already having a couple, as we now move on to the Slush Rush, Team Pixie, Snapping Turtles, and Flying Saucers. Another bit of a surprising semifinal. We'll see who manages to advance here, and we're off. Slush Rush. Grapple has the lead for now. Now it's Team Pixie out ahead, but only by a little bit. That could change quickly, and it does. Slush Rush now has the lead, but they lose it pretty quickly. Now Yertle comes here to challenge, and it's going to be close, but Yertle will hold on for the advancement spot. Grapple of the Slush Rush came so close, was even leading throughout parts of this heat, but they just will not make it. And surprising for the Flying Saucers, never once even coming into challenge. They made a miraculous comeback in the heats, but they could not do the same here, even though really everyone was well on pace here. Everyone within a few seconds of each other, everyone on screen, which is a bit surprising for this event. But at the end of the day, the Slush Rush and Flying Saucers could not get it done. But that means Team Pixie will be going to the final alongside Yertle of the Snapping Turtles, trying to become a 2-time gold medalist. Meanwhile, Team Pixie trying to get their 3rd medal of the season. Differences between them, very large disparities as we move on now to the final. Flare, the captain of the Flashbangs, as well as Construct of the Stone Golems, Yertle of the Snapping Turtles, and Fantastico of Team Pixie, and we are off. It's Team Pixie and Yertle side by side, but here comes Flare of the Flashbangs getting a huge lead, and now they have a big gap back to the Yertle, who's trying to hold on for the silver. Right now trying to catch up, but it's just not going to happen, and the Flashbangs will be taking their first ever gold medals. Construct comes across for the bronze, meaning the Stone Golems finally get a medal in their home stadium, or at least outside the stadium, but in their home season. And Yertle of the Snapping Turtles, now a 2-time medalist, though have to be a bit disappointed it couldn't be a gold. Team Pixie have to be a bit distressed. They were so strong throughout the heats and semis, but could not get a medal here. They will have to settle for 4th place, but a pretty spread out heat across the board for the final here. There wasn't a whole lot of passing. There was that moment earlier on when Flare took the lead, but the Flashbangs now have a medal of every color, and their captain comes away with the gold here. Yertle did an excellent job there, trying to keep pace, just could not hold on with how dominant the Flashbangs were, but with an 11.32, they will take the gold. Fantastico coming in. How there's such a sizable divide between the 40 range and the 20 range. But now Team Pixie, a team that's been solid so far, currently 7th in the standings, and not usually known for their strength events, but we'll see how they do here. Their first push looks very strong, and they're sitting right in the middle for the others to avoid, which they get a good second push and a good third, but they need their 4th push to really get some good roll distance, and it looks like they do. I think that'll amount to a pretty solid performance here. I'm not sure that I'll be able to contend quite for the lead, but for a team that's usually not known for their prowess in this kind of event, definitely recovering quite a bit here and showing they still have what it takes, with lots of very explosive impacts. It looks like they had a lot of speed coming down each one of their members down the ramp, but only a 45.1 will be toward the center of the results so far with standings. Now we move on to Team Pixie versus the Loaves of Bread. We'll see what these teams can do, and we are off. It's immediately a very precise jump for Team Pixie, but it's not going to be high enough. The reserve Miracula not able to put a point on the board at the start. Now let's see what Toast can do for the Loaves of Bread, and they're off. Ooh, hard bounce off the rim, and it's not going to happen. We're starting 0-0 for both teams, and it's not boding well for either one. Now, the second marble for Team Pixie, another one very similar to the first, where it's just a little too low and banging right into the net, but not able to actually go into the hoop. And now the Loaves of Bread, can their second marble capitalize? No, neither team is really capitalizing on the failures of the other. Both teams are struggling quite a bit. You can see how hard their impact was, though, rotating the entire basket around. But, oh, another one for Team Pixie. They've been very consistent throughout with getting precise jumps that are just too low. And now they're already down 3 marbles, and Loaves of Bread still have 3 more to go. Ooh, that was a very imprecise jump there. Way too far to the left side for roll of the Loaves of Bread. And now we're already only 2 marbles left on either side. Still no points on the board. Team Pixie will finally sink one. And that was a good basket there. A little bit better than their teammates with just getting enough height. They weren't quite as precise, but we're seeing how height is another big impact. And now can the Loaves of Bread, they will capitalize there, getting another goal to match the Team Pixie. And now heading into the final marble for each team. The pressure is on with the tied game currently. And let's see what the captain can do. Oh, they just barely bounce off the rim, bouncing off the backboard, really. And you can see they rotated right around. They were so close to going in, but they will not be going in. Magica, the captain, not able to get it done. Now will the Loaves of Bread do it? No! They will bounce off the rim, and because it is a tied game, with every marble already done, we will go to overtime, meaning the reserves for each team will come back out. Let's see what Miracula can do if they score here. They will score here, which means now Toast from the Loaves of Bread will have a chance to respond, but if they don't score, that will be the end. Team Pixie now have a 2-1 lead. The Loaves of Bread have to score, or they are out. And they will not get it done. Toast too far to the right side. Not going to happen for the Loaves of Bread, but that means Team Pixie will be moving on in our first overtime match. We'll see if that happens more, once again, out in a bracket event. But now the Soaring Skies versus Team Pixie, 2 teams that have proven their worth already in the first round. The Soaring Skies not off to a great start here, not even making contact with anything except for the net, and not in a particularly good way either. Now, the Team Pixie, their reserve, will they get one in? No, they will not. And that is not good for either team. Not off to a great start. But, of course, there's still 4 more opportunities for both sides. Now, let's see what Harpy can do. Ooh, it's not going to happen for the Soaring Skies. Off to the left side this time and not even making contact, just bouncing off the wall. Not a good sign for the Soaring Skies. Now, Team Pixie, will they respond better? No, they will not. Neither team has put a single point up in the first 4 runs out of the 10 between both, but still 0-0 now with 3 marbles left apiece. Now the Soaring Skies tried again. Ooh, they're going to be more precise. They will bounce backwards off the rim, I think, but still not going to be able to get one in. And now Team Pixie, they're in their favor once again. Ooh, and they're so close, but still nothing happening. Only 2 marbles left for either team, but neither team has put up a single point so far. Now, each run counts more and more as the Soaring Skies will put one in, and that means the Soaring Skies already have a huge advantage now. The Team Pixie will only have 2 opportunities to get ahead of that. If Team Pixie doesn't win here, then the absolute best they can do is go to overtime. And, oh, that won't be happening here, just too low, and not even making contact with the rim. And that means the Soaring Skies can clinch it here with a point. And their captain, Pegasus, will they do it? Yes, they will. The Soaring Skies have guaranteed they will move on to the top 4. Very impressive for a team that is the only one left with 0 medals. Meanwhile, Team Pixie, they at least can save face here by getting a point. Oh, but they will not. Disappointing for Team Pixie. Not great for a team that's currently doing pretty well, pretty decently at least, in the standings. See how that affects with our first heat: the Flying Saucers, Flashbangs, Checkmates, Stone Golems, Red Rockets, Team Pixie, Slush Rush, and the City Lights. Several very important championship contenders in here, and we are off. Right now, the Red Rockets not off to a good start, it looks like, but the Flying Saucers will be the first ones to drop on through. Meanwhile, it looks like the home team, their captain, Guardian, and a cheer from the fans as they will almost take a lead, but it will be Rook from the Checkmates who will instead usurp them. Meanwhile, Team Pixie and the Flying Saucers have already made quite a comeback in that second funnel, already into the advancement zone provisionally, as Team Pixie are, but the City Lights are very close for that 4th place spot, not quite able to take it from Team Pixie, as now they move up into 3rd. Oh, and it's jockeying for the lead, but the Stone Golems will now take it from the Checkmates, the home fans. Once again, very thrilled with that one. Meanwhile, the Slush Rush on the opposite end, about to drop on through into the orange funnels. They were the first team to do so. Now the Flashbangs quick to follow them as Thruster, the captain of the Red Rockets, one of the most experienced marbles in this league. It drops on through as well. They are struggling with this new event. They've never done it before. Meanwhile, the Stone Golems still have the lead for now, as Team Pixie dropping on through very quickly. They were in second. Now they're down outside the advancement zone. This is not looking good. Meanwhile, speaking of the advancement zone, the Flashbangs have crawled up into it. Now the Stone Golems and Checkmates going back and forth for the lead. Another team's crawled up into the advancement zone. The City Lights. Now the two black teams are battling for the lead right now. Team Pixie also trying to make a bit of a comeback as the Flashbangs and Slush Rush, the first couple teams going into that green funnel. It looks like they might be out, and the Flashbangs they're trying to avoid it best they can, but it's not going to happen. The Flashbangs are done. Meanwhile, the Checkmates, they are in danger now. They were leading for a while, but now it looks like they're going to go through, and they do. Team Pixie follows them quickly, and the Red Rockets are going with the Slush Rush, but they can't quite do it. The City Lights just barely hold on for advancement, as do the Slush Rush. Now the Flying Saucers were in last at the start of this race, and they will take the win here in this heat. The Stone Golems came so close to winning this heat. The home team not quite able to get it done, but that's a good sign if they want to try and win this event in the final. Of course, the results of the heats are really only as relevant as advancing and not advancing. They might impact the starting positions in the final, but of course we've seen how that hardly matters. But Team Pixie, devastating. They came so close. So did the Checkmates especially. Quite a downfall for Rook there, and a 138.67, despite this track being longer than the one in season. Now we'll see who's up next. Team Pixie, another team, currently in the bottom half, but really toward the center right now, only a few points behind ninth, and their first marble will immediately go down. That was pretty impressive by then, and their second will as well. Another perfect score for Team Pixie, doing an excellent job there. And we haven't seen anybody go out yet. We're almost at the halfway point of round one, so the result here could push them up pretty high. Is now Team Pixie. Let's see what they can do as we're getting almost halfway to point. Their first marble's not able to get done. Now they have to put their second marble through, and they will. Team Pixie will be moving on to the next round. So that was a bit of a scare for their first marble. Of course, with Team Pixie, it's a bit hard to tell if that was their first, which one of their team get thinner and thinner, as now we move on to Team Pixie. So far, they've been very consistent, and their first marble, bounces off the wall, but they will still get in, and Team Pixie is moving on. Their second, even more precise than that, and Team Pixie has been proving very solid so far, and we'll get another perfect run here as we're already nearing the halfway point of this round. Really mastered this, despite how thin the gap is, managing to get both of their teammates through. Now Team Pixie, will they be able to get it here? Oh, their first is off. Now their second has to perform here, and it's not going to happen. Team Pixie is going down here. A bit depressing for them, but it'll be another mishap for them. Off to the left side was their first, and their second rolling away. Perhaps had a bit more momentum. Currently not doing the greatest in the standings, only 14th place. And now we move on to Team Pixie versus the Rose Rollers, two teams that at this point aren't really rookies anymore, have already found their footing this late into the season. But the Rose Rollers are absolutely crushing Team Pixie so far, really never in question there. They didn't win by the most. Team Pixie did a decent job of holding their own, but there was really never any point where they're gaining much on the Rose Rollers. And you can see the Rose Rollers being the winners of block bumping earlier this season. Unsurprising that they will be moving on. The heats will just be 11 laps long, and we begin with the Checkmates, Stone Golems, Team Pixie, Snapping Turtles, Red Rockets, Flashbangs, Rose Rollers, and King Crabs. And we are off. It's the Checkmates who start off with the lead. Team Pixie not too far behind. King Crabs and Stone Golems starting in the advancement zone. Of course, winning the heats isn't that important as long as you're staying in the top four, and I believe the Flashbangs are right now the ones on the cutoff line. The Checkmates holding on to the lead pretty well right now. The King Crabs not too far behind them, as now the Red Rockets make a bit of an overtake to get into the advancement zone. But the Flashbangs do it right back over the split. The split is another new feature we're seeing this season that was not there on the Big Kahuna. As the King Crabs, while I was talking about someone else, got into the lead, which should help their chances of advancing. They're one of the big championship contenders right now, currently in second place. The Checkmates and Team Pixie, not quite the same, but they're doing a decent job. The Flashbangs holding on to that advancement spot over the Red Rockets, and they actually take third place and up to second place for the Flashbangs. Team Pixie now the ones in the danger zone, trying to hold on to that fourth place spot, with the Red Rockets are quickly closing in behind them. Meanwhile, teams like the Stone Golems, the Rose Rollers, not doing too well, as we're already almost halfway through this heat. Ooh, the Flashbangs, it looks like they fell off the elevator, and now they're way outside the advancement zone. That will definitely help the Red Rockets, who are now into the advancement zone. And Team Pixie make a dive bomb move to get into the second place. They almost went around, had enough speed to go around the King Crabs on the outside, but it's not quite going to work. Now the Checkmates have fallen a couple positions. They're now looking like they're a bit in danger, as now Payload of the Red Rockets, the reserve, goes around and takes third place. Payload was the marble that failed to win the championship for their team last season, and hopefully that shame not getting to them too much, as they're still doing a decent job here and getting redemption for that. Meanwhile, the Stone Golems, the home team, running out of time, as are the Snapping Turtles, who medaled in this event last season. Of course, they opted to send different member than they did for Marathon. I suppose that wasn't this event, but either way, we're getting down to the last couple of laps. The King Crabs, Red Rockets, Team Pixie, and Checkmates, currently the 4 teams in the advancement zone, and they have a huge gap back to 5th place. The Stone Golems are in 5th, just need to make one overtake, but look at how far behind they are as they're coming down to the final sector. We're beginning the final lap now. The Rose Rollers, it look like they're already too late. The King Crabs hold the lead. Red Rockets, and then Team Pixie and Checkmates. Ooh, will the Team Pixie hold on for 3rd? Yes, they will. Across the line, the King Crabs, Red Rockets, Team Pixie, and Checkmates will be moving on. And the Rose Rollers, what happened to their Captain Orchid? The captains of Stone Golem getting best of the rest. But now the King Crabs, Ivy League, Red Rockets, Team Pixie, Checkmates, Loves of Red, Soaring Skies, and Slush Rush to battle for the win. And we're off. The Red Rockets immediately get off to the lead. Loaves of Red not too far behind. The Loaves of Red want to be the kings of circuit races. And as you can see, lap 1 of 17, the final is going to be 6 laps longer than the heats were. The Ivy League now settle into the lead for now. The Red Rockets not too far behind them. Loaves of Red still in that metal zone. And, of course, now there's no more advancement, so it's all just about results. The Loaves of Red holding on to 2nd place for now. They went around the Red Rockets on the outside, and now they're making a bit of contact with the Ivy League, but the Ivy League are so fast through that sand section. They know how to navigate it perfectly, not hitting the walls, and evidently, as we saw in the first event of the season. Meanwhile, the Red Rockets, now the King Crabs jump up into 3rd place into the metal zone, and suddenly we have a very familiar top 3, not quite in the order we're used to, but the Ivy League, Red Rockets, and King Crabs lead the way into lap 5. Now the Loaves of Red are much farther behind as Team Pixie are challenging them for that 4th place spot. Meanwhile, teams like the Soaring Skies, Checkmates, those teams, it would be huge for them if they could manage to get a medal. Meanwhile, the Slush Rush bringing up the rear as the Loaves of Red falling several positions now. The Soaring Skies suddenly find themselves in 4th place. If they make one overtake, they could get their first medal of the season. And, of course, of their careers in the main league. Meanwhile, the Checkmates and Team Pixie going back and forth for that 5th place spot. Every position counts when there's only 8 marbles on the field. Meanwhile, the Ivy League hold on to the lead with their reserve. Now, the Red Rockets make a challenge there through the chicane, but it's just not quite going to happen. The Hermit of the King Crabs holds on to that bronze medal spot for now, and they're trying to go by in the sand moguls. We're seeing the Ivy League taking the far side, Red Rockets and King Crabs to the near. In the sand section, they're perhaps just experimenting, or perhaps they found a better groove that they prefer. The Soaring Skies now trying to challenge the King Crabs. They're getting close, but I'm not sure it's going to happen this lap. No, it will not. Meanwhile, several teams are closing in. Now, the top 5 really are all pretty close. The Checkmates close in quite a decent amount on the Soaring Skies, but now they're starting to spread back out again as they come off of the elevator. Meanwhile, Payload, the reserve of the Red Rockets. We have 2 reserves in the top 2. And the Red Rockets are closing in just a little bit each lap on the Ivy League. At this point, the Ivy League have already led for more than half the races. We're already more than halfway done. But the Ivy League hold on to the lead for now as the Checkmates go by briefly past the King Crabs into that 4th place spot. But now the Soaring Skies, as I didn't even notice, are now into the medal zone. The Soaring Skies in position to get their first ever main league medals in Marble Cross. The Ivy League, we've now got a very red, green, blue podium, but of course there's still plenty of time. But now the King Crabs jump up into 4th place over the Checkmates, and the Payload, the reserve of the Red Rockets, goes by into the lead. Now the Red Rockets in position to get their 2nd gold medal of the season. Of course, the Ivy League want to do that exact same thing. And Bettina of the Ivy League is already having an amazing season so far with their gold medal in the first event, trying to become a 2-time gold medalist. Meanwhile, Payload redeeming themselves for missing out last season. Of course, they got 6th place. It's hard to really blame it on them. But in the meantime, the Soaring Skies, it looks like the Payload got stuck there at the exit of the sand. And now the top 3 are all very close with 2 laps to go. And they are off, only a few bases apart on the elevator. Team Pixie move up into 4th place, and the King Crabs have fallen quite a bit. But meanwhile, Bettina makes a challenge through that turn there, but it's not quite. They can't quite make it stick. And now we head into the final lap. Payload holds on to the lead for now. Bettina right behind them. They go to opposite sides in the sand, and it was a huge dive bomb move. Bettina of the Ivy League makes a pass into the lead, and that will be the deciding factor. The Red Rockets hold on for silver, and Team Pixie made a move at the last moment to take the bronze. And Team Pixie take the bronze. The Soaring Skies have to be absolutely devastated that they couldn't bring home a medal today. They were so close, but on that final lap, Team Pixie squeaked them. The last place marble is out. There's no safety. There's no reason to win, really, except to avoid elimination. And we are off with the first round. Flashbangs are in the lead right now. The King Crabs were at the back briefly, but now it's the Stone Golems. They were gold medalists in this event last season. Now it's back to the King Crabs with their reserve Spider, one of the most experienced athletes in QMC, but now it's the Loaves of Bread and the Flying Saucers. Well, they're close, but it's going to be the Loaves of Bread. The Loaves of Bread, disastrous for them. They were one of the medalists in this event last season with their Captain Bun, and they will be going down here in dead last. disastrous for them. They're already 12th in the standings, and I believe that guarantees they will not be winning the championship. This event last season was where we saw a lot of teams get eliminated from contention, and I imagine we will see the same here. Meanwhile, Queen, the captain of the Checkmates, doing a great job taking the win here. Considering they're 15th in the standings, they're going to need all the help they can get to try and stay in contention. But now you can see this field gets a little bit thinner, and we move on to the next round. It looks like the Flashbangs are starting at the back this time, as are the King Crabs. They are struggling once again. Now it's the Rose Rollers, but it's going back and forth between them. It's still absolute chaos at the back. So many teams are back there. Now the Ivy League are back there. They're another big contender. Now it's the Flashbangs. Ooh, will the Ivy League be able to catch up? No! They came so close to catching up to the Slush Rush and Flashbangs at the very last moment, but it's too late there on that final obstacle they hit. Ooh, and the Flashbangs, their reserve, even hit off of that last obstacle and almost completely choked it, but it's not going to matter. The Ivy League, third place in the standings, are going down here. This has huge implications for the top few in the standings. They are only 3 points behind the King Crabs, but I imagine that's only going to grow as they get 15th here. Now we're down to only 14 marbles, as we've already seen one of the biggest contenders go out here, and we're off for the next round. The Checkmate's off to a great start here. Now Team Pixie as well. Meanwhile, it's the Pollen Puffs at the very back this time. They're already very low in the standings. Now it's the Stone Golems, but it's going back between everybody. The Flying Saucers now find themselves at the back. Team Pixie fell back quite a ways, and now suddenly they're in the elimination zone. Team Pixie started out leading this heat, and they will be getting dead last in this heat. That's a disaster for them. One of the teams that's another one in the bottom half of the standings, and that most likely means they won't be able to contend for the title here. It depends, though. They're still at least a little bit close, but with the King Crabs still in this, it's going to be difficult for them. Of course, they've had rough experiences with this event in the past and the B-League last season, but at the very least, they don't fall off the course this event, as were the Pollen Puffs, who got bronze, but the top two in this event last season didn't even qualify, so pretty interesting there. But either way, now Team Pixie and the Stingrays, and we are off. Team Pixie lose a couple, but the Stingrays lose some later, and it will settle at a 2-2 draw, which means that these two teams will be doing decently. I think the Checkmates will technically be ahead at the start of this group, but really it's anyone's game with all of the teams except for the Ivy League having 2 as their score after the first match. Already a third of the way through here, this group, but the Checkmates will start in the lead, as I mentioned, with the point differential that's in the positive. But now we move on to the Ivy League versus Team Pixie, a fan-favorite matchup here, and we are off. The Ivy League have a big group that, there is a couple dancing around. Meanwhile, Team Pixie have used the grooves very effectively to keep 4 on the board. Team Pixie will win this matchup, and for a team that's been solid in team events so far, it's unsurprising they will be winning this one here. But the Ivy League just can't quite capture the momentum they need here, and with only have a huge margin in the lead, but this could be pivotal. The Checkmates and the Ivy League both want to advance here, and we are off. The Checkmates have a decent score here. It looks like they have 4 on the board. Team Pixie only have 3, so the Checkmates have 4 now. That means the Ivy League pretty much have to get a perfect 5 in this final matchup, or they will not be going into the bracket stage. This is huge for them. Meanwhile, Team Pixie have pretty much clinched that they will be Snapping Turtles. Moving on to the top 4 is huge for them. Now the City Lights versus Team Pixie. The City Lights need to move on here if they want to challenge in this. They're losing a couple. It's 4-3. I believe Team Pixie will hold on. Yes, they will, unless that one marble rolled off, but they stayed in the groove, and that means Team Pixie will be moving on as well, and the City Lights are done. Now the Red Rockets have a huge chance. This is the last major contender that was still in this event, depending on how the Red 12 in the standings. But now we move on to the first semifinal, the Snapping Turtles versus Team Pixie. And we are off. It's a hard impact with a couple of late drop-offs for the Snapping Turtles, and that will doom them. They almost had the win there, but Team Pixie will be taking the win because of those last 2 to roll off at the very last moment. You can see that those 2 going to the top side, and they just could not quite hold on, but that means Team Pixie are moving on to the finals to get. Meanwhile, the Snapping Turtles will have to settle for 4th. But now for the final, Team Pixie has never won a main league gold medal, and the Rose Rollers have already won a couple, but it looks like the Rose Rollers have already lost most of their marbles, and Team Pixie still have 3 on the board. If my math is correct, Team Pixie have taken the gold medal in Collision for the first time in their careers. They've never won an event in the main league or the B League, but here they were just consistent enough, and with the proper teamwork, Team Pixie will be taking the win for them, especially the King Crabs. But this is your podium. A very red podium indeed. We've seen the Red Rockets and Rose Rollers take a few medals before this season, but Team Pixie, I imagine, will be celebrating into the night. We will be diving straight in with Heat 1. The Red Rockets, Ivy League, Team Pixie, and Slush Rush, all currently contenders, but of course the Red Rockets in the point lead. They have all eyes on them, and they're starting off in second place. They actually take the lead there from the Ivy League. The Ivy League still in the advancement zone, though, as the Slush Rush are trying to challenge. Now Team Pixie go by on the outside to take third place, but it's not going to matter. They make contact with the Red Rockets, but it's not going to matter. They fall back to fourth, and that is the end. The Ivy League and Red Rockets pretty much end-to-end were the teams in the advancement zone, and now we see how this event works. It will be heats of 4 on this track. It's about 15 seconds long, similar to Obstacle Course earlier this season, but the Red Rockets advance, which is pivotal for the championship. That eliminates Team Pixie, and even the Ivy League, despite advancing here, will not be able to win the championship due to the Red Rockets advancing. Same for the Flashbangs, and the Slush Rush here are out of podium contention due to not advancing, but that already has several implications. That's already 3 teams out of contention just due to this first heat with the Red Rockets advancing. The Ivy League also winning this one is pivotal for them. They're going to need all the help they can get. They can still contend for a podium, even though they can't contend for the championship anymore. But Sleet from the Slush Rush and Magica, the captain of Team Pixie, will be going no further. Meanwhile, Jewelweed from the Ivy League, who we saw in Funnel Endurance earlier... to breathe for quite some time, but you can see all of the marbles there lined up. We're slightly better than the Stingrays last season, and the King Crabs definitely being generally better than the Rose Rollers, though the Rose Rollers probably wouldn't like me saying that. But now the Flashbangs and Team Pixie, these two locked together here. Ooh, who will go first? Team Pixie. Oh, they fall out of the catch basin there. That is something they did last season. Team Pixie, their captain Magica, perhaps just getting used to falling out of the draw funnel just to show off to the fans, perhaps. But the Flashbangs will be going into Group B, and that is another one where the team that's another one pretty much objectively better going into Group B. Group B is looking at event results, but there they are sitting there pretty evenly distributed amongst both, but Group A is generally, I'd say, is a little more even. Meanwhile, Group B has a lot of high highs and low lows. But of course, we'll see as we head into the qualifiers coming soon for Quack's Marvel Clash Season 3. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching. We're slotting into fourth. Very solid across the board here. But now the Stingrays, Terra Titans, Team Pixie, and Avocados for the final heat of Group A. And we're off as the Terra Titans who had the lead, but the Avocados take it. Now here are Team Pixie and the Stingrays. It really goes between everyone in this heat. Very close here, but it looks like I think Team Pixie might have had it. It was very close between them and the Stingrays. But look at how much those two caught up toward the late part of this course. We're seeing how this is a much more dynamic event than it was back in Season 1, where it was really one note. If you got off to a good start, you could hold on. Ooh, look at that Manta of the Stingrays. Just barely gets the win in this heat. It's not amazing, especially with the Gugo struggling so much. But now we move on to Team Pixie and the Avocados, as we're already halfway done with Group A. It looks like Team Pixie, and they both send one down very quickly, actually. And it looks like the Avocados have one still going. They'll only get around the 55 mark, though. And Team Pixie have one getting past the 40. Ooh, actually, they'll get about 5 extra spots. It's 5 extra points from that. Just moving around a little bit more. And we're seeing how this event can be very different in that you can be very strategic and gain a lot of extra points just from keeping your momentum up. And actually, Team Pixie will be winning this one with consistency on their side. The Avocados at 3 marbles really struggling in the back there. Now let's see how they do in their second run. The Avocados sending their captain down first, and a 30 isn't too shabby. Let's see what their next marble does. Ooh, not too great. Well, Team Pixie still have a few. Everybody still has a few moving, actually. Team Pixie have 1 past the 50, 2 of them just shy of it. The Avocados also have 2 just shy of it, but Team Pixie looking great here. Everyone past the 20. Meanwhile, what happened to that one Avocados marble? I think that's their new marble, Foca, only getting 13, but a 172 is a monster point total for Team Pixie, and they'll be slotting into second place. The Avocados only able to take P6. But Team Pixie make it back to the main league officially. But now the Terra Titans and Team Pixie, another two teams on opposite ends. The Team Pixie in second in Group A. The Terra Titans only have 8 points, and they're already not looking great here. Team Pixie looking like they're keeping it generally wider, as the Terra Titans only have 1 marble left, and they go through. Team Pixie will take the win here in back-to-back heats. We'll have the less surprising team end up winning, and Team Pixie really racking up the time there, just spinning around as long as possible in the neck of that funnel. And a 14-17 will take P1 just narrowly. Well, the Terra Titans, of course, it didn't really need to be. As now we move to Team Pixie, the second team that's already made it into the main league once again. And a 5.5 is pretty solid as an opener. We'll see if they can hang on to their consistency this time. And it looks like maybe with a 4.5, not too bad. But now their third marble comes down, and they're looking very solid here. A 6.5 will be a very solid score for them. If they can get a really great score here, they could get another medal. Ooh, I don't think they will, though. A 4 isn't too bad, but a 20.5 might still be enough for a great score. I'm not too sure, but of course it doesn't really matter. But that is it. Here is the podium for Group A. Team Pixie will be winning. Last season, they just barely didn't win their group, but now we see the full roster of our teams for Quack's Marble Clash Season 3. So many teams came so close, but these are the teams who have earned their spot here. The King Crabs and Avocados looking very close, but they just narrowly made it. Of course, the Red Rockets, the reigning champions, as well as the rest of the podium. But soon we will be seeing you for Event 1, Balancing. So long, and thank you for watching. Far, but we'll see as now we head into Team Pixie's run. This is the first of the teams that qualified the old-fashioned way to get into the main league this season, but it looks like they're staying very true to the center here. They did not get a finisher, but everyone gets past the 60, and that was a great run from Team Pixie. This team medaled in this event last season, and they're showing that skill once again here, getting everyone past the 60. They didn't have a single finisher, but they were still able to get a 285. That would have been enough for a medal once again last season, so they're doing a great job here. If everyone came past the 60, it's really going to be crucial to beat a lot of other teams, and consistency really on their how that compares to the rest of the runs. As now we move on to Team Pixie, another team that was great in the qualifiers. We'll see how they do here. Their first bar will looking a bit off to the near side, and a 5.5 is very solid to start things off, but we'll see. Their second marble also looking very similar. A 4.5 is going to basically repeat that, except a bit farther off. Now their third marble comes down. That's a 7.5, very solid for Team Pixie, and they might be a challenger here if they can get one more good run. They're looking a bit off to the far side, though, and a 5.5. Will that beat the Pollen Puffs? No, technically, that ties them, but they lose on the tiebreaker based on their individual team since the demo run. Now the Jelly Jammers, Team Pixie, King Crabs, and Snapping Turtles. 4 more teams that have been solid in this event before. And we're off. It's Team Pixie with the lead right now. The Snapping Turtles trying to close in, but they just can't do it. The King Crabs, though, surprisingly not able to advance here. The Jelly Jammers also not looking the greatest. They were pretty solid in this event in the qualifiers, but not able to replicate that. But the Team Pixie really leading wire to wire here. The Snapping Turtles also. This heat wasn't quite as dynamic as the ones we've seen in the past. Every team really started to space out, but Team Pixie getting a very last in this event. But now we move on to the semifinals. The Chili Peppers, Red Rockets, Team Pixie, and Stingrays. The latter of whom, the point leaders. And we're off. It's those bottom 3 all next to each other. Team Pixie's trying to stretch the lead. The Chili Peppers almost have a challenge for the Stingrays, but I don't think they managed to pit them at the line. I think Manta managed to hold on for second place. This was a very close heat, and Team Pixie managed to win once again just after having to come back right after winning Heat 4, immediately doing it again, and pretty impressive by them that they managed to have the stamina to keep going. Well, actually, this was a very close heat between all 4 marbles. No one really, as we're getting ready for the final, the 4K Pixels, Team Pixie, Ivy League, and Stingrays. All 4 of these teams have proven themselves. All 4 of them are very high in the standings as well. This has huge implications, and we're off. It's Manta with the lead right now. Hedera is very close. Here comes Bite, but they just can't do it, and I think the Ivy League held on for their 2nd consecutive gold medal. The Stingrays had a great start, but they just weren't able to hold on to it. They've been so consistent in the heats, but through that middle section, Bite managed to pass them, and I think they got the silver. Meanwhile, Team Pixie, another heartbreaking event for them, the 3rd in a row where they'll just miss the podium. But yes, Hedera, for the Ivy League, manages to get it done for their 2nd gold in a row. The 4K Pixels, another rookie team. Now we move on to another rookie team with the Avocados up against Team Pixie here. Both teams, or especially Team Pixie, were very solid in the qualifiers in this event. We'll see how they do here. The Avocados, their first marble gets down past the 45. Team Pixie still have 3 trying to march down the field. It looks like they have all of them settled past the 35. Meanwhile, the Avocados have a couple going a teeny bit farther, but I think consistency will weigh in, and Team Pixie will be taking the win barely in this round, but a 158 to 149. Both teams are definitely challenging for medals here. Neither team has a medal yet, but Team Pixie has been so close every single event so far. Avocados have been on the polar opposite end, very low in the standings. They would love a great result here. And look at that one Team Pixie marble gliding past on the far side to get a few extra centimeters, but it's not going to be the greatest run for either team here. A 127 to 112. Team Pixie obviously going to win this one, beating the Avocados both times, and they will be going into P3. They're tantalizingly close to their first medal with a 285, but they gotta hope no one else passes them in Puffs and Stone Golems as we head into Heat 2. Team Pixie, the Loaves of Bread, the Jelly Jammers, and the Red Rockets in this one. Several teams that would like a medal this season, and it looks like the Loaves of Bread will be starting off with a pretty solid run past the 58, it looks like, but not able to reach the 60. The Red Rockets also not looking bad here, but the Loaves of Bread are off to the strongest start of these few, and still not able to get past the 60, though. No one will, and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to contend for a medal. These teams really need to pick up the pace heading into the next round if they want to do so. We'll see how these teams do as they swap lanes and go again. It's now the Loaves of Red on the top side. Will they continue their success here? It looks like the Jelly Jammers had the lead. The Red Rockets take it, but the Loaves of Bread take it past them with a great surge at the end. And that was actually past 64, it looks like. A great run for the Loaves of Bread. Is still not quite able to challenge the Stingrays for now, but we're seeing how this event can be pretty consistent. The Loaves of Bread consistently winning this heat with a 64.4, only 4 millimeters over the Red Rockets, though, so they have to keep things consistent if they want to stay in that provisional win for the heat spot. Now we'll see as they come down once more. The Loaves of Bread are the only ones at this point that look like they could challenge the Stingrays. As they get past 60 once again, I think that'll be another improvement for them. The Red Rockets, I'm not sure if they'll be able to say the same. That looked pretty solid from them. But Team Pixie and the Jelly Jammers are just completely absent from this heat so far. Not looking great in really any run. And it looks like a 63.7 will be an improvement for them. Everyone improves except for the Jelly Jammers in this run of 52.2. Not up to their standards. As we go one last time. Will the Loaves of Bread or the Red Rockets, maybe even the Jelly Jammers, be able to challenge the Stingrays as they come down now? The Loaves of Bread have momentum, but it's just not going to happen. They'll get around the 65, it looks like, but I think that's all they have to show for it. I think they'll be able to take P2 pretty comfortably from the Pollen Puffs from Heat 1, but I think that's all they'll have to show for it. The Red Rockets not looking too bad, but they will not improve here. The Jelly Jammers will with a 54, but the Team Pixie unfortunately struggling once again here. Strength events usually aren't their strong suit, and a 110.1 is not great. The Loaves of Bread slot into the Turtles, going to over double that. Now we move on to Team Pixie up against the Jelly Jammers. This is a grudge match here. Both of these teams set amazing times in this event in the qualifiers, and right now Team Pixie has the advantage. The Jelly Jammers, the record holders, have a final stand. No, they do not. And Team Pixie will be moving on. The Jelly Jammers, what an upset there. I mean, this was really an unfortunate draw for both teams, considering these were the top two in Group A in the qualifiers in this event. Both of these teams really could have advanced here, but because of the way the standings worked out, the Team Pixie going to get the upper hand here, and very impressive for them. And the Jelly Jammers unfortunately struggling here, considering this was one of the events they probably had circled on their calendar as trying to. It's unsurprising that the host team is doing well here. Now the City Lights up against Team Pixie here. Let's see which one of these teams will make it through. It looks like the City Lights have the upper hand with that one marble. I think that's the reserve Lamp doing it once again, but it's very close between them. Team Pixie have a lot. They're overwhelming Lamp, and it's just not going to work out. Team Pixie will be moving on to the semifinals. Unsurprising for them after upsetting the Jelly Jammers in the first round. They're already paving their way through to get their first medals of the season. It's shocking so far that Team Pixie doesn't have a single one yet. They've gotten 4th place 3 times, and they're trying to finally get one, but of course they have to win at least one more match to do so. The City Lights unfortunately not going to get their first medal. They have to fight for the bronze with one of these two teams, Team Pixie up against the Avocados in the second semifinal. And we are off. Team Pixie right now look like they have a bit of an upper hand. Now they have a big upper hand. The Avocados are losing all of their marbles. Can they pull off another upset? No, they cannot. The Avocados will have to settle for 3rd or 4th place depending on how the 3rd place match goes. Team Pixie though are going to the finals. They finally guaranteed their first medals of the season. They've been pretty comfortably the best team this season that hasn't gotten a medal yet, and they'll finally be getting one here, but will it be gold or will it be silver? We'll have to see when they're up against the home team. The Avocados, meanwhile, have pulled up so many upsets, but unfortunately, this is not going to be one of them, as 7.04 is not a great time for them. The gap was only 6 points. Now we move on to the finals. The Flying Saucers, the home team, up against Team Pixie, who are probably the favorites to win after being so consistent throughout. But right now, it looks like the Flying Saucers might have a bit of an upper hand. Now it's switching between them. Team Pixie has 3 marbles left, and they're going to do it. Team Pixie takes the gold medal here in funnel duels. After doing a great job in the qualifiers, they will continue that success all the way to a gold medal here. The Flying Saucers, heartbreaking. They won't be getting a gold medal yet in their home stadium, but still a remarkable finish for them after struggling last event. They've gotten top half in so many events so far. Both of these teams have been great so far, but Team Pixie will get the better of them here. They got a gold medal back in Season 2 in the stadium. There is the podium, the first unique one we've had in a long, long time, and all of these teams are going to be thrilled with these medals. It's hard here. Meanwhile, Mole for the Avocados pulling off an upset. Now the Flying Saucers, Stone Golems, Team Pixie, and King Crabs here. Several few teams have done well in this before, but it looks like the Stone Golems have the lead right now. Our hosts are there, and Team Pixie on the near side will take that advancement spot at the very end. The Stone Golems looked like they had something going. They've been struggling a lot this event, or these past few events even. Back-to-back 10th places in the past couple, and it looks like, oh, they just barely got pipped to the line. Android, their member that they've used for a couple of events now, is usually a great athlete, but they just have not been able to put it together this season. Meanwhile, Terran, the reserve of the Flying Saucers, doing a great job here, dominating this heat, well ahead of the rest of the field. The 2 reserves in this one going to make it to the next round. Our host, Stone Golems, getting 10th for the 3rd event in a row. Now we move on to the semifinals. The Avocados, Team Pixie, Snapping Turtles, and the Azure Diamonds. Several teams that would really love a great performance here. And it looks like the Avocados have the lead right now, but with a push from Bowser, the Team Pixie will be moving on. Team Pixie and the Snapping Turtles sort of working together there to make it through. The Azure Diamonds on the near side, it looked pretty decent at the start, but completely fell apart there. Meanwhile, Bowser, maybe not pushing Team Pixie per se, but definitely guiding them through. Those two will be moving on to the final. Team Pixie has a chance of getting their 2nd consecutive medal here. They're doing a great job, and they're really trying to recover this season after starting with so many 4th places. It looks like they've been having a great season so far. Meanwhile, the Avocados, unfortunately, not going to be able to be tight between those two. But now we move on to the final for the gold medal. The Flying Saucers, Snapping Turtles, City Lights, and Team Pixie are hosts in this one. We'll see how they do here in the top lane. And we're off. It's 3 wide for the lead right now. Bowser has it. Here comes Miracula from Team Pixie on the far side. They will be getting it done. And back-to-back gold medals for Team Pixie. They started on the near side. They swung way up to the top. And it looks like with a bit of a push from Lumen, they will be getting it done. The Snapping Turtles hold on for silver, though. A great job from Bowser, who's a proven athlete in this league, and the City Lights hold on for their first medal of the season. It's been so long since they've been able to say they've gotten a medal. They got lots of them last season, but this season has so far been a struggle, but they'll finally get it done. Meanwhile, heartbreaking for Terran, not able to pull off a medal for the home, help them move up in the standings, but here is the podium. Team Pixie is definitely going to be moving up. They're already in that title battle. They could be moving up into it. There's already guaranteed, I believe, at least bottom half. It might be bottom 4. Now we have to move on to Magica, the captain of Team Pixie, one of those contenders, and they will make it through immediately. After seeing the Flying Saucers, they knew they had to lock in and get through this round, and they just barely cleared it at the end, but they did manage to make it through. Just had advantage over the Avocados, so Avocados unfortunately sitting P15 at the moment, unless anyone else goes out. Team Pixie, just barely hit the beam there, and that's not going to be enough. Magica now needs to focus up for their 2nd attempt if they want to stay in with all the other contenders still in it, and they will. Team Pixie is just going to be able to make it through, but definitely a bit of a scare there. The Team Pixie giving their fans a heart attack with that one, but they will still be moving on considering they're only 8-point jump event, but either way, we'll have to see if that momentum keeps up. Now, Team Pixie needs to focus up here, and they will do so. Team Pixie is on to round 4 now. So far, we haven't seen many eliminations. We only saw the Snapping Turtles so far, and even round 3 these four, and great for them. Now, Team Pixie, one of those championship contenders, will they make it through here cleanly? No, they will not. They were definitely too low there. They didn't have nearly enough height. They didn't have the momentum either, but really just not getting the speed they needed. Perhaps the, weariness of the first few rounds catching up to them, and it's not going to happen. Team Pixie is done here, and that is another contender out. With Team Pixie and the Stingrays out, the 4K Pixels and the Ivy League are now free to duke it out, at least with the 4K Pixels. They haven't attempted this round yet. We'll have to see if they make Saucers getting it done here. Now, Team Pixie, the Azure Diamonds, the City Lights, and the Stone Golems in this one. And we're off. It's the Stone Golems on the near side who looks like they will take the lead. The City Lights in that second place spot for now. The Diamonds and Team Pixie, especially Team Pixie, really need to get some points here. And it looks like they're very close. They're within striking distance, but they're going to mess up the water. And that will be the end of it. The City Lights and Stone Golems going to hold on to the advancement zone for quite a big chunk of this race. And they'll be holding it through the water. All of those teams came very close at the end, but not a lot of changes heading into the second half of this race after seeing the runs we saw in the first two rounds where it was so close every time. And in the Sand Moguls, Mecca, the reserve of the Stone Golems, almost messed it up, but they just managed to get it done. That marble struggled quite a lot in Sand Moguls last season, but this time they will be getting it done. And 11:67 is a very solid time, and Floro from the City Lights will be getting silver last season. We'll see how they do here today. Fuselage, also a medalist in this event last season, as well as Bowser, who won it, the captain of the Snapping Turtles. And we're off for round one. Of course, the only goal is don't be last. It looks like right now our hosts, the Flying Saucers, are not doing a good job of that. But as we look toward the front of the field, the Snapping Turtles are doing well. But Team Pixie's at the back. They're one of the championship contenders at the moment, but they're fighting with their rivals, the Flying Saucers. They're going to the near side, and the Flying Saucers can't do it. The home team is going to get eliminated in round one. Last season, Venusian did a great job in this event, managing, I believe, 7th place or 6th. They were in the top half either way, but here it is just not going to happen for them. They were behind for quite a bit of this race, and they were having a bit of a squabble with Team Pixie toward the end, but it just wasn't going to happen for them. And we're seeing how technical this course is. It's very difficult to navigate, and that's the third dead last of the season for the home team. It has all gone wrong for them. They started off pretty solid this season, but they've been slipping ever since. As now we move on to round two. The City Lights right now are at the back. Now the Ivy League are at the back. Oh, but only briefly. It's the Pollen Puffs now. The Stone Golems. Everyone is shifting back and forth. And now the Pollen Puffs are having a bit of a breakaway, but not the kind of breakaway you want. And they're not catching up. They're not going to have time. And the Pollen Puffs are done. They're another team that's just been struggling so much this season. At least the Flying Saucers had a decent start, but the Pollen Puffs haven't had a decent anything. They've been struggling so much. They don't have a single medal on the season yet, and 10 events in, it doesn't look like they're going to be getting another one here today. This is definitely going to hurt them. They're currently 10th in the standings, and it looks like the Chili Peppers on the other end did a great job in this heat, but Pollen, the namesake of the Pollen Puffs, will go down in 15th place, a placement the team is unfortunately familiar with. Now the starting gate looking a little less crowded as we move on to round three. The Snapping Turtles not having a great start, nor are the Azure Diamonds or the King Crabs. But now Team Pixie finds themselves at the back once again, but only briefly. The Stone Golems are there as well, and the Chili Peppers, who won last round, are suddenly at the very back, but they're fighting with Team Pixie. And now Team Pixie's out of track. They're not going to make it. And Team Pixie, oh no, not again. Every season, Team Pixie just manages to fumble this event. I don't know what it is about the elimination race course, but it just doesn't seem to work for them anytime. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen here. The 4th place team in the standings, currently tied with the Stingrays, is not going to make it. An insult to injury there. The Manta actually won this round, and the Stingrays are loving this. They're definitely going to stretch that gap in 3rd place, maybe try to catch to Unravel, and the Avocados similar for them. Now the Snapping Turtles, the funnel experts, up against the Red Rockets, Pollen Puffs, and Team Pixie, the latter of whom got a gold medal in funnel duels earlier this season. We saw that didn't translate, though, for the Avocados. We'll see if it does for them. It looks like right now that they have the upper hand with those 2 marbles still orbiting around. Of course, a lot of eyes in this heat are on Yertle from the Snapping Turtles, but of course they've never had to deal with a 16 marble heat, and right now they're sort of mired in the mid-pack at the moment. It doesn't look like they're doing the greatest, though, and nor are most of the Red Rockets. They have that one in that final translucent blue funnel, but that's about all they have to show for it, and now they've dropped on through. But now Team Pixie have the upper hand. They have the top 3 now. Team Pixie is looking great so far, and we know they're decent at funnel events, but perhaps they're better than we thought. Meanwhile, the Pollen Puffs are not looking good. The Red Rockets are really not looking good, and the Snapping Turtles are not up to their usual funnel form. They got a solid result back in funnel duels as well, so perhaps they do have weaknesses in the funnels, but either way, it looks like it's not good for their Captain Bowser, who's down at the bottom fighting with the Red Rockets. And Team Pixie also has already lost one into that second orange section. Perhaps they're not invincible here, but the Red Rockets with Tank, they're not looking good so far. They've struggled in funnel endurance in the past on their own, and here they will be getting dead last in this heat. The Fuselage, their teammate, also in the final funnel, as is Booster. The Red Rockets might get the bottom 2 spots, and will they? Oh, yes, they just barely do. The Pollen Puffs lose one now, and the Pollen Puffs have 3 marbles all in that penultimate funnel. They're trying to work together to stave off elimination here, but it's not happening. They've already lost one now. They lose another. Actually, they've lost 3 now, and they have 1 final marble left as Team Pixie finally loses one. The Red Rockets are trying to make a final stand with those 2 teammates in the final funnel, but it's just not going to happen. The Snapping Turtles lose another. That's Yertle, the funnel expert, and here the Red Rockets lose one, the Pollen Puffs, and there is that final team. Oh no, that's not their final Team Pixie marble. That's the second Team Pixie marble, second place in this heat. Team Pixie, like the 4K Pixels before them, I think have guaranteed advancement, but it's going to be pretty close between the other few teams. The Red Rockets have a couple toward the top there, including their Captain Thruster, but I think the Snapping Turtles might have done better than them with their consistency. We'll have to see when the graphic comes on screen. Team Pixie's been very solid so far this season, but just not quite consistent enough to keep up with those top two who've had such impeccable seasons, and of course we'll be seeing the Ivy League in the next couple heats, but either way, Wondra from Team Pixie gets the individual win, and of course with linear scoring, winning the heat isn't even all that essential. You just have to be as consistent as possible, and I think that's why, yes indeed, the Snapping Turtles will be moving on by only 2 points over the Pollen Puffs. I didn't expect the Pollen Puffs to actually beat the Red Rocket. Another top 4 finish for them. Color me shocked as we move on to the next semifinal. The Stone Golems, Ivy League, Jelly Jammers, and Team Pixie. A lot of very strong funnel teams in this one. We'll have to see who's able to make it to the final. It looks like right now the Ivy League are not on a good pace here. They've already lost all their marbles into the second funnel. Meanwhile, Team Pixie has the advantage once again with those two in the early lead. We've seen Team Pixie do that quite a lot, as have the 4K Pixels, but it looks like right now they have all 4 of theirs still in the lead funnel. Not quite anymore now, but either way, the Ivy League not looking good as they've already gotten all of their marbles into that final translucent yellow funnel, as Team Pixie still leading the way. It's pretty close, though, between the Stone Golems and Jelly Jammers for that second place spot. I think the Jammers have a bit of an advantage, maybe, but now it's starting to swing back in favor of the Stone Golems. The Ivy League have 3 into the green funnel now, as the Stone Golems and Jelly Jammers only have 1. Now the Golems have 2, but the Ivy League, all of theirs in the green funnel, and one of them dropping into the second section of orange. The Jelly Jammers and Stone Golems also in there, but it looks like the Ivy League still losing their marbles. The Team Pixie at this point would really need a catastrophe to not advance. The Stone Golems are losing a couple now into the orange section. Now they have 3 in there, as the Ivy League continue to bring up the rear, or perhaps lead the way, depending on how you look at it, but their first marble will come down in dead last in this heat. The Stone Golems looks like they're not in a good shape either, with 2 of them down there. The Jelly Jammers have already lost 1, but there's a pretty big gap back to the rest of the field. The Jelly Jammers, all of their marbles now pretty close to each other, and suddenly it's not looking great for them either. Team Pixie loses their first, the Jammers lose another, the Stone Golems also not looking the greatest. We'll have to see, as the Ivy League have made some kind of comeback in the orange section. They still haven't lost their second marble yet. Team Pixie loses another one, and the Ivy League 3 of them in that one funnel. That's just not going to work. They will lose one, they lose another, they hold on above that one Stone Golems marble, but the Ivy League might be on for a comeback here as Team Pixie drops on their final marble, and the Ivy League, who could have seen this coming, get the individual win of this heat. This is going to be another very close one. Team Pixie, I think, still did enough to make it for sure, but it's going to be close once again for that second place spot. Did the Ivy League do enough? Did the Stone Golems have the consistency? Or I don't think the Jelly Jammers are going to make it at this point. Their best marble was 8th place, but either way, it's going to come down between those 2 green teams. Will the Stone Golems do enough? And no, not even close. Actually, the Ivy League won. I didn't see that one coming. They had 3 marbles in the top 5, though. I guess it's not too surprising, but the Ivy League win this innings are moving on to the final. The 4K Pixels, Azure Diamonds, Team Pixie, and Ivy League, 3 of these teams are in the top 4 in the standings. One of them is named the Azure Diamonds. And here we go for the gold medal. Of course, with the Ivy League and the 4K Pixels in this one, pretty much whoever does better in this heat will have the point lead at the end of Event 11. Right now, it looks like they're fighting for the individual lead as well, but of course, looking on down, the Ivy League do not have the advantage. The Azure Diamonds, though, looking very solid, though. Team Pixie is the only one who doesn't look the greatest at the moment, as all of their marbles are in that penultimate translucent funnel. The Team Pixie usually have had great starts in all of these heats, but suddenly it's not looking good for them. Meanwhile, the 4K Pixels are looking great so far. They might be on for another gold medal this season. The Azure Diamonds are finally losing that 1 marble, but the Ivy League have a bit of an upper hand with that 1 marble higher up, but it's going to take more than that to win this very team-focused event. Speaking of teams, Team Pixie has already gotten 4 down into the green funnel. It's not looking good for their hopes at another funnel event gold medal here, as the Azure Diamonds are suddenly making a bit of a comeback, trying to fight for another medal here. The 4K Pixels also have that one at the bottom, though. Of course, we saw how it was almost their undoing in the semifinals, how they had their marbles really spread out across the field, as the Ivy League have made a bit of a comeback. They had that 1 marble that was way toward the bottom, but they still only have that 1 in the orange section. We're getting down to the final few funnels now. Team Pixie, will they lose the first marble? It looks like they might. Oh, no, they get shoved aside, and the Pixels lose their first marble. Not a good sign for their hopes at a gold medal. The Azure Diamonds lose one. Team Pixie loses one. The Azure Diamonds lose another. It's not looking good for them, as Team Pixie now loses another. The Ivy League are making another comeback. Will it be enough here? It looks like the Azure Diamonds are losing one. The Ivy League finally lose another, and now the Pixels have multiple in the final funnel. I don't think that's going to work out for them unless multiple other marbles shove them aside, but it looks like they might be getting just that. Oh, not quite. The 4K Pixels drop another one through, but the Ivy League still have 2 marbles in there. Now they only have 1. The Azure Diamonds of all teams have the upper hand. The Ivy League finally lose their final marble. All of these teams do. The 4K Pixels will get the individual win. Not quite contending for another record here, but of course this is going to be very close. I don't think the Azure Diamonds are going to do it with those 3 toward the bottom, but the other 3 teams here are so close in these results. It could really come down to any one of them, and it just goes to show how tight this event is. It takes every single marble on your team to really make a stand in those final few funnels in order to win it, and Voxel gets the individual win, but it's so narrow. The gaps are so fine. With the Ivy League getting those 2 in 4th and 5th, respectively, those 2 down in 9th and 10th, will that be enough, or will Team Pixie do better, or the 4K Pixels? They had a bunch toward the top, but by only 2 points, the Ivy League have done it. They'll take the gold medal away from the 4K Pixels. Team Pixie will have to settle for the bronze to retake the point lead, and here is the podium. The Ivy League putting themselves back in the driver's seat for this championship battle, just barely ahead of the 4K Pixels. And the pairs, we're getting ready now for the qualifier race. This will just be a 3-lap shootout to determine pole, but of course it's reverse championship standing. So the Avocados starting out front, the Ivy League back behind. And we're away. It's the Avocados in the lead right now, but the King Crabs quickly seal them off in that one of those very first few turns. The Pollen Puffs, though, not far behind, and now they take the lead back, and suddenly they're back in the driver's seat. The Snapping Turtles also up in there right now in 3rd place. They got a medal back in Season 1 Marathon. They're trying to get on the front row here. Right now, the Azure Diamonds not too far behind, and the Ivy League have made a big move. They're already up into the top 4 now. They started 16th on the grid, and now they're heading into the top 3 in the final lap now. The Pollen Puffs have this one in the bag unless the King Crabs can do something about it, and they're going to get blocked there. The Ivy League, though, are challenging now for the lead from 16th on the grid. I don't think they're going to do it, but in 3 laps, they managed to go all the way up to 2nd place from dead last. A 14 position gain is amazing for the championship leaders, and that is terrible for the 4K Pixels. They did not get nearly as good of a start, and I think they started down in the bottom 3. Their result here was not what they were hoping for. Of course, this is only the placement race. We'll have to see how this compares to the actual racing, if maybe the 4K Pixels just saving their energy, knowing this is going to be a long race anyway. The starting grid is slowly going to become less and less important as time goes on, but we'll have to see if that strategy pays off for them. Of course, this event was held back in Season 1, where the Losers, both in the bottom 3, is not what they wanted to see. Trying to catch up to the Ivy League, will be starting on the front row. But of course, it means it's time for the main event, the Marathon, Event 12, and we are away. The Pollen Puffs start off with the lead, the Ivy League with Patina, the Season 2 MVM in 2nd place. The Avocados, of course, staying in 3rd place. Meanwhile, where are the 4K Pixels right now? They haven't gained a single position. They're at the very back. The City Lights have even passed them as the Pollen Puffs lead us down into lap 2. They're to the 3rd one of those 28. The Chili Ivy League trying to get another, and they're at the very bottom of the standings. Rockets are top 5 so far. Things have been leaking marble their medal this season, but of course we'll see if they can make the entire race. I think they're higher up there. There they are in the top layer of the track, and it's going to do it. The Red Rockets have won gold in the Marathon. They've shown so much promise throughout this season, but here it is all fallen apart. They didn't quite get dead last thanks to the City Lights, but still losing a lot of ground on time we've seen from the Red Rockets. Now, Team Pixie and the Pollen Puffs. Speaking of Team Pixie, they definitely need to advance now, knowing the Red Rockets have made it, and the Pollen Puffs have a very poor first leg. Team Pixie already has a big advantage, and it seems to be growing. But the Pollen Puffs right now might be closing in a tiny bit, but is that going to matter, really? No, it will not, and the Pollen Puffs are done. They're already out of championship contention. They're already 14th in the standings. They've been bottom 3 in both of the previous 2 QMC seasons, and unfortunately, it looks like that struggling is only going to continue here into the Gravitrax Relay. Team Pixie looking great here so far. They're another team that's usually better at team events, and this is the penultimate team event of the season, so they only have one more shot after this to keep that prowess alive. With a 10:06, that's another great time, and Team Pixie will definitely be making it over the Pollen Puffs in semifinals. Now the Snapping Turtles up against Team Pixie. Team Pixie definitely need to advance here, considering they're another team right in that podium fight. And right now they have the upper hand. The Snapping Turtles very close, though. And now the Snapping Turtles have a great handoff to Yertle. They have the advantage heading into the final leg. They have a bit of a slow leg, but it's not going to matter. The Snapping Turtles will be moving on to the semifinals as well. Team Pixie, this is the second round in a row that came very close, but Team Pixie just messed up through this leg here where the Tortimer from the Snapping Turtles managed to catch up to them, and look, right there is where it happened. The Snapping Turtles will be making it to the next round, and that is not good for Team Pixie. That means the Stingrays have a big chance to capitalize on the failures of Team Pixie and the Red Rockets and try to catch up to them and take third place overall. Of course, we'll have City Lights, but that means the Stone Golems and Jelly Jammers are moving on. Now, Team Pixie and the Flying Saucers split down the middle. An interesting strategy, trying to play collision without actually colliding, and it does not work at all. Team Pixie will get a total free win here, 2-0. I don't know how they managed to part the seas like that. The Flying Saucers just did not want to make contact at all, but either way, perhaps the Space Invaders deciding not to invade this time, as Team Pixie gets a total free win. Unlike back in the previous season, the low scoring doesn't really matter as long as you manage to get the win. Now the Turtles and Team Pixie, it looks like the Turtles have an advantage. They lose 2 up to the top right, and now we'll see, can these 2 marbles arrest their momentum? Yes, they will, and that means it's going to be another draw, 2-2. But of course, Team Pixie with a win and a draw are sitting pretty as long as they can manage to get something good in that final matchup. The Snapping Turtles with 2 draws is going to be tricky. We'll have to see how their results go here, depending on how this next matchup goes for them. They're definitely one of those teams in the sea first to see if the Chili Peppers can challenge them, or Team Pixie. Team Pixie also looks solid in their first match. Can they get another win here? It looks like they'll have a very explosive launch, but they're the only ones left with marbles on the board. They lose 2 of them, but another 1-0 matchup. Of course, this time not quite as flashy with Bowser in the middle, but either way, Team Pixie will be winning it, and with 2 wins, I think that guarantees the reigning gold medalist in this event from Season 2 will be moving on here as well, 1-0 against the Chili Peppers. For them, unfortunately, they'll be stuck with 5th through 8th. Now the Azure Diamonds and Team Pixie for our final matchup. Will the reigning gold medalists win? It looks like right now they have a bit of an advantage. The Azure Diamonds lose another marble there, and Team Pixie, even if this one falls off, which it will, it's not going to matter. Team Pixie is moving on to the top 4. Perhaps a bit unsurprising here, but the Azure Diamonds are also pretty great at this event back in the B-League in Season 2. Unfortunately, it's just not going to happen for them, and the Azure Diamonds are another one of those teams that's been very quiet so far this season. They were great in distance drag where they got that gold, but that was all the way back in Event 4, and now we're... But first, we move on to Team Pixie and the Stone Golems. We've seen Team Pixie win this event before. Can they do it again? It looks like they will be knocking a lot of the Stone Golems marbles aside, but it's 2-2. Will that one Team Pixie marble fall off? Oh, they'll just barely stay on, and that means it's going to go to a tiebreaker now. We can't just have a draw in the bracket, of course, but we can see right there was a very interesting mixture, a very interesting collision, of course, but either way, Team Pixie just barely managed to hang on with that one marble, not managing to knock over the domino. That is huge for them, just barely arresting their momentum, but now it's time for the tiebreaker. The 2 marbles that stayed on, the dominoes stay off, and here we go. Team Pixie loses 1, Stone Golems lose 1, but Team Pixie, they're rolling way too fast, and that's going to be the end of it. Automaton for the Stone Golems is the only one left standing, and that means the Golems are on to the finals up against the Red Rockets. Team Pixie will not become 2-time collision gold medalists, but they might still become 2-time collision medalists, depending on how they do up against the Ivy League. The Stone Golems, though, getting it done here. This might be another Ivy League and Team Pixie. Can the Ivy League get their 6th medal of the season? They've never gotten 6 medals in a season before, believe it or not, but either way, it looks like Team Pixie are losing a lot of marbles. The Ivy League are as well. The Ivy League only have 1 left. They're trying to sort of snipe the Team Pixie marble from across the stage. That's not going to work. They will not knock that other marble off, and that means that's the end of it. 2-1 will be the deciding score, and Team Pixie gets the bronze here. Another collision medal for them, another team event medal for them. They're very skilled at both of those types of events, and the Ivy League, unfortunately, will be coming away with only 4th place, but that is another somewhat sigh of getting it done. And how many times have I said this before? The Red Rockets are on top of the podium. All 3 of these teams were in this event back in Season 2, and all of them...
Main event, well, we're in for a doozy here. But now on we go for the main event. Team Pixie, Loaves of Bread, Chili Peppers, and the Jelly Jammers, and off they go here. Team Pixie, the highest one in the standings, I believe, among these 4 teams. They're fighting for an overall podium spot, and it's pretty close. Single file, they go into the orange and blue section, but now it's all about taking the right pathway as they all converge into the grabber track section. Team Pixie has been passed, but they give the Loaves of Bread a nudge there as they get into the grabber tracks, and they're going to have a lead heading into the quadrilla.
Looks like the Jelly Jammers right now in third place, but they're way behind the Loaves of Bread. The Loaves of Bread fly off. The Jelly Jammers have been handed the advancement spot. If they can just hold on, Team Pixie finishes, and they will be making it. That is big for their podium hopes with only one event left after this. The Jelly Jammers slowly meandering through the Plinko, but they will be making it, and the Loaves of Bread and Chili Peppers not going to make it. I didn't even see where the Chili Peppers got stuck. They must have gotten stuck somewhere in the blue and orange section. Oh, there they were, up on the top section. They just couldn't quite make it through, and the Loaves of Bread falling off in the Quadrilla definitely hurts. I think that guarantees they will not be getting an overall podium this season. Of course, they were already quite an outside chance, but Team Pixie getting it done here is definitely big for their podium hopes. We'll have to see if they can continue that momentum, and even the Jelly Jammers, very low in the standings right now, going to be loving this, advancing to the next round, but only 2 marbles finishing. We'll see if we can get another round with
after this event, but on we go to the semifinals. Team Pixie, Ivy League, Snapping Turtles, and the Azure Diamonds here. The Ivy League in the second position here. We'll see if they can move on to the final. Azure Diamonds had some difficulty there in the tower section. Team Pixie is leading the way here. They're trying to stretch it a little bit here, but you can't really stretch it that much as we get into the blue and orange section. We'll see if they can hold the lead. The pathways can really trip up the leading marble, and it does here in the blue and orange section. Ivy League will shoot into the lead. Can they hold it though? Going to the final section, Team Pixie's having some difficulty. The Snapping Turtles have got by, and the Ivy League are unstuck, but they're going to get dislodged here by the Snapping Turtles and Team Pixie. Will they be able to hold? Oh no, Team Pixie falls off at the end there, and that will secure it. Oh, it came very close there with the Azure Diamonds. I didn't even catch that. They were catching up right towards the end. Look how far behind they are at this point in the Gravitrack section. But the marbles making some contact there. The Ivy League getting held up in the Quadrilla section. I didn't even realize that was bringing the Azure Diamonds back into this race, and almost just a few lengths back of the Ivy League come the end here. But the Ivy League nonetheless have done enough to move on to the final. This could be a championship clinching final here, but we'll see what the 4K Pixel can do in the other semi-final.
What a heat that was. The Azure Diamonds almost made it happen with their captain, Carrot, but of course the Ivy League can't seem to be stopped at the first heat. The 4K Pixels in the second one, but of course the Ivy League, if they advance here, they will force the 4K Pixels to get a medal at minimum to win. Meanwhile, Team Pixie and the Snapping Turtles also fighting for an overall podium here, and so it begins. It looks like Team Pixie off to a decent start right here, trying to stay wide. Of course, there's always a lot of chaos here, but the Ivy League, so far, it's not looking great, as they're one of the first ones to fall through into the second funnel. The Team Pixie, though, looking solid here, as they will be the last ones remaining. Usually Yertle from the Snapping Turtles is so great at this event. They have 2 gold medals in it. They've never lost a heat in it even. But so far they're not leading. They are getting their way into second place. The Azure Diamonds also in the advancement zone, but the Ivy League still at the bottom of the table at the moment. The Avocados and Flying Saucers also down there. The Jelly Jammers as well. All of those teams way lower in the standings, but the Ivy League haven't got a bottom half finish since balancing at the very start of the season, though now they're starting to work their way through. They're trying to work their way through the field. They've gotten past the Jelly Jammers and the Stone Golems, of course, only for just a moment, as now they're right back underneath the Jelly Jammers. Team Pixie trying to stretch that lead now over Yertle, as the Flying Saucers, the home team, have worked their way into third place now. The home team, could they finally be on for a good finish this season? They haven't had one in about half a season at this point, but either way, there's still plenty of time for things to change with this enormous course. The Ivy League still not in the advancement zone, as they're trying to work their way back around the Jelly Jammers. The Avocados starting to slip a little bit, but they're still in the advancement zone for now, just barely over the Azure Diamonds, who have fallen out of it. The Ivy League now have made up some ground. They're around the Jelly Jammers. They've made it past the Azure Diamonds as well. They're in 5th place now. If they can make one more overtake, they will be in the advancement zone. Meanwhile, Yertle from the Snapping Turtles is starting to close in just a little bit on that lead from Team Pixie. And of course, we're seeing how things move pretty slowly here in these translucent funnels. It's difficult to make overtakes, as the Stone Golems are the first ones to drop through into the orange section. The Jelly Jammers follow pretty quickly, and it looks like the Azure Diamonds not too far off that. The Ivy League still not in the advancement zone, and they fall through very quickly into the second orange funnel. Meanwhile, the Stone Golems with Construct way behind the rest of the field is starting to look like it's too late for them, as the Snapping Turtles have taken the lead away. They've wrestled it out of the hands of Team Pixie, and these two teams fighting for an overall podium are definitely fighting for it. Ooh, but it looks like Team Pixie might have gotten back into a wider orbit, and they have Team Pixie back in the driver's seat. Meanwhile, the Snapping Turtles will have to settle for second place right now. The Ivy League still falling through, as they're only just in that 6th place spot, but now that the Azure Diamonds shove them aside, and now they're back up into 5th. If the Flying Saucers fall through here, the Ivy League will be in provisional advancement zone. It looks like they will, but of course they're sharing a funnel with the Azure Diamonds. A big gap now starting to form between the top 3 and 4th place with the Ivy League, but this is still what the Ivy League want to see if they can hold this position, as some marbles starting to fall through into the second half of the course now. And there's a lot of chaos in that green funnel. The Azure Diamond's almost about to fall through, but it looks like they will get shouldered aside. Oh, not quite. The Flying Saucers and Jelly Jammers will outlast them, and it looks like Team Pixie... Oh, Team Pixie flies off the course! Team Pixie's going to get a DNF. Oh, a disaster for the team currently 3rd place in the standings, and now the Snapping Turtles have a big opportunity here. This battle between the 2 green teams for the lead is turned into the battle for the lead now, as the Snapping Turtles have the advantage over the Avocado. An unbelievable marble. They've been so strong in funnel endurance, and even very last event with Big Tower, they got a medal, and now they're trying to get yet another one here to put their team on the overall podium. And of course, with Team Pixie DNFing here, that is terrible for them, but that does mean the Snapping Turtles have a big opportunity to pass them in points, but of course it's going to take a medal to do it. We'll have to see if they can hold on to that in the final, but there was so much chaos in this one. Look at that, 3 marbles all tumbling over each other, falling into that hole in the green funnel, and the Ivy League just barely managing to hang on. This was a very beneficial Heat team. They only have a single medal thanks to distance drag earlier in the season, but there you can see the Heat results. With a 4-minute and 32-second time, Yertle will be taking the win here, and the Jewelweed, the captain of the Ivy League, gets it done. Of course, there is that new record I mentioned earlier, but now all eyes turn to Heat.